Hello and welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be going over my most anticipated new manga releases for 2023. These are manga that are getting their first volume or their first physical volume next year. So like continuing series will not be counted, and also I'll be mentioning the release dates in this video, but every release date I will be mentioning is the release date I got off Amazon UK. The release dates for the rest of the world will probably be different. I will not know what they are. And also the release dates will be subject to change because manga gets pushed back all the time. So yeah, these are the manga I'm most looking forward to reading that are starting next year. And it's actually, there's 36 on this, 38. There's 30 something on this list. A lot more than what I had on the list last year, because there's a lot of awesome sounding series coming out next year. And these series are in no particular order other than I've put the light novels at the end. So, well, 2 seconds. Well, don't stand on that. My dog's kind of disrupting things. Go on. Go on. Right. Tail. Good boy. Alright. Let's get on with this. The first series I'm looking forward to next year is a series called What He Who Doesn't Believe in Fate Says. And this is a new series by Omu the Rice that is being released by Seven Seas, and it is coming out on June 20th. This is a romance series with a supernatural edge to it. It's about Kosuke, who has an unusual ability. He can see the red string of fate that connects soulmates together, so you know how the Japanese urban legend of the red string of fate connecting your finger to your soulmate's finger. Well, he can see that thread. And he falls in love with this woman called Yuka, but her thread is clearly connected to somebody else, so she is not his soulmate. So he decides to hide his feelings until one day he goes to see a fortune teller, and that fortune teller tells Yuka that her destined lover is nearby, and she thinks that it's him. And now he thinks he might have a chance to prove himself to her, despite the fact he is not her soulmate, because he can see the red string of fate. And this one sounded very interesting. I thought it would be like a good romance read for next year. So yeah, this is coming out in June 20th, according to Amazon UK. Next up on the list, I have this one's actually a Thai BL series called Manner of Death, and this is written by Simon, and it is coming out from Yen Press on May 23rd. Now, 2 seconds. I just need to look up the description. Okay. I can't find it. I'm going to have to do this from memory. We have this guy, and I believe that he is hunting for a criminal, like a murderer. And he is and this other guy agrees to help him catch the murderer, which he would find a lot more reassuring if this guy wasn't actually the prime suspect as to the murder. So basically we have a detective trying to solve a murder who has to team up with the murder's prime suspect in order to catch the killer, but he doesn't know whether he's actually the killer or not. It's a BL-like detective mystery drama series, and it sounded very good, and it's from Thailand, and I've never actually read a Thai manga before, so that should actually be interesting. Okay, this next one is a webtoon that will be published on Happy Toon, and this is called Pretty Sweet. It's by Nare Ri, I think you say that. It's coming out from Yen Press again on June 20th, and this one's about a vampire who goes to, there's a girl and a vampire. And I'm pretty sure, like, he kind of sort of becomes her pet or something. Again, I can't find the description for this one on Anime Planet. Oh, here, I found it. I found it. When the daughter of a shaman gets strung up with a centuries-old vampire, is it love or something more sinister that binds them? That's the only description for this I can find. But yeah, there was a description on Twitter when this was announced by Empress. I just can't find it, but yeah, it's a romance between a vampire and a human. Anyway, it's a webtoon, it's Korean, it sounded interesting, I'm gonna pick it up. Okay. This next one is called A Reincarnated Witch Spells Doom. And I actually do think I remember the description for this one. So this is a isekai shoujo series about a witch, or a girl who gets reincarnated into this fantasy world as a witch, and she has the like destruction spells. She specializes in destruction spells. This is written by Sora, by the way, and it's coming out again by Yen Press on also June 20th. Yeah, she masters destruction spells, and so because of that everyone fears her, so she kind of isolates herself and keeps herself away from people to avoid like their fear and the hatred. But then this guy he comes to her door and he like collapses, and she has to help him out, and they like obviously they start to grow closer, and like he makes her realise she's not as dangerous as she thinks she is. Yeah, this one, I don't usually like isekai that much, but this one sounded interesting and I thought, why not give this one a go then? So yeah, that's A Reincarnated Witch Spells Doom. And next up I have The Summer Hikaru Died. This is a seinen BL series coming out from Yen Press. And I couldn't find an actual release date for this one. I don't know if it's been revealed yet, but it's by Momomokuren. Yeah, it's like a drama mystery BL series. Obviously we have Hikaru, and obviously Hikaru dies one summer, and I'm pretty sure the main guy keeps seeing his ghost around. Two boys lived in a village. Yoshiki and Hikaru, the two did everything together, and to the day Hikaru was encompassed by a mysterious light. That was when everything changed. Hikaru most of all. Yoshiki still wishes from the bottom of his heart to always stay by his side, but is there even a Hikaru left to be with? So Hikaru is obviously adopted by aliens or something, I'm guessing, and maybe replaced. And then he's like still wants to be with him, but is he really still the same Hikaru, or is he someone different? I know this one recently won an award in like the seinen shonen category, and also yeah, it's a BL. It's like, it sounds good. It's like a mystery. It's a thriller. It's a horror as well. It's psychological. So yeah, I am looking forward to this one. And the next one is another BL series called Delinquent Daddy and Tender Teacher, and this is coming out from 7 Seas on the August. I haven't got a date for this one written down, so I mustn't be able to find it. But this is by Toma Mizuki, and this one's about a high school studious. In high school, studious Hitsuji had a crush on one of his guy friends, a friendly delinquent named Hatayama, but never confessed. Years later, Hitsuji is a slightly anxious but responsible elementary school teacher. One of his young students is upset with a sloppy, non-conformist dad, who turns out to be Hatayama. When Hitsuji learns that Hatayama is struggling to raise his son as a single parent, Asuji helps him out, first as a teacher and then as a friend who teaches Hatayama how to clean his home and cook actual vegetables. As the men grow closer, some of Asuji's anxieties begin to melt around the welcoming and grateful Hatayama. What will become of the feelings Asuji used to harbour for his first love? Yeah, this sounded like a sweet BL series with an elementary school teacher and a delinquent, and them raising his son together, and it sounded like it would be a sweet one, so I was definitely interested. And the next one is actually another BL series. This one releasing by Kodansha. It's called My Ultramarine Sky, and it's by Nagisa Furuya. And I also could not find a release date for this one because this one was announced recently. And it's by the same author as My Summer Review and My Summer With You and their series. It's about two friends, right, from their first year of middle school to their second year of high school. Kai and Ren have not only always been in the same class, they're also always sat next to each other. But in their last year of high school, the boys were assigned to two separate classes, and with each passing day, Kai feels as if he's slipping further and further away from Ren. One day when Kai finds Ren sleeping in a classroom after school, he whispers his feelings that he can't bring himself to say out loud, and Ren hears him. Will Kai's confession push them further and further apart, or will it be a spark and bring them back to each other? Yeah, I like My Summer Review, and this is by the same author, and it sounds like another kind of cute BL, so I'm going to give this one a go. As I say, I can't find a release date for this one either. There is some that I couldn't, but I could for most of them. Okay, and next up on this list is a series called My Lovesick Life as a 90s Otaku by Nico Nicholson. And this one I also doesn't have a release date yet. All of these Kodansha ones I couldn't find release dates for. I don't know if they've been revealed yet or not. Yeah, this is coming out from Kodansha. It's about a married woman. No, it's a divorced woman with a teenage daughter, reminiscing about her time as an otaku in the 90s in high school, and how she had a crush on this boy in her class who looked like the main character from a manga she read. It goes over otaku culture in the 90s and what it was like to be an otaku in the 90s, and just this woman reminiscing on some of the best years of her life about this guy she liked and all the stuff she was into back then. It says it's for fans of Wotakoi, and I just thought this one sounded quite interesting. And I think it's kind of like a slice of life comedy, I think. Next on this list is a shoujo series releasing from Kodansha by Anashin called How I Met My Soulmate, and this is from the same creator as Waiting for Spring, which is a manga I really enjoyed quite a lot. And it's about two college students. Yuki's a 20-year-old sophomore in college who has wished for one thing since moving to Tokyo: to find her soulmate. Growing a bit desperate after a long drought, she goes along with a friend to a club for the first time. Her friend thrives, but is chaotic and loud, just not Yuki's scene. Just when Yuki begins to despair that she'll ever find a real adult relationship, she meets Iori, a man with bleached hair and a slightly scary demeanour. But first impressions don't always tell the whole story. Could destiny still have more cards to play? This is a college romance shoujo series, and you don't get a lot of college shoujo series. Most of them are set in high school, so I found that aspect of this one to be interesting, and I like Waiting for Spring. This is the same author, and it's a shoujo, so I'm going to pick this one up and read it for sure. Next one is a digital release that is getting physicals next year. I'm pretty sure the series is already up to volume 7 digitally, but we're getting English physicals for the first time next year, and that is Nina the Starry Bride, and this is a series by Rikashi. Again, this is Kodansha releasing this, and again, I don't know the release date for it. And this is a fantasy josei series about Nina, who had a rough start in life. She's stealing to survive and eventually being sold into slavery by her own brother. But to her surprise, her captor, Prince Azor, ordained that she would live the life of a princess, specifically that of the recently deceased priestess Arisha. But despite her fight, and Azor might just be the one to finally catch. But despite her changing future, Nina won't give up her old life without a fight, and Azor might just be the one to finally match her wits. But how much can she trust Azor, and can she stop the feelings budding in her heart, knowing she must eventually marry another? So this is fantasy josei. It's for fans of the Ancient Magus Bride and Yona of the Dawn. We have obviously Nina, who's sold into slavery, and he buys her, and as the purpose of her replacing the princess, who's obviously died, a bit like in Prince Freya, and being a replacement for her. But yeah, I like fantasy josei shoujo series, and this one, I know this one's popular, and really looking forward to giving this one a go, because I have been wanting this one physically for a while. After I found out about it being digital only, I was like, we need this physically, and we're now getting it physically, which is super exciting because I'm super looking forward to this one. Next up is another josei series that we're getting physically from Kodansha. Sorry about the shitty picture, I couldn't find a better one. But this is Virgin Love. It's by Nina Tamashita, and it's like a cohabitation where we have looking for love but afraid you'll never find it, come live at the Love Hotel. The Love House, sorry, the Love House, not the Love Hotel. 6 strangers, 1 house, 1 shared goal, love, what could go wrong? This is about 6 strangers living and cohabitating together in a love house, and that's all I know about it because I've looked for this series online, and that's the only description for it I could find anywhere. But it's a josei series, we're getting physicals, we need more josei in English, so I'm going to support this when Kodansha releases it. Again, no release date for this one. Yeah, I think this is the end of the Kodansha ones that I couldn't find release dates for. Anyway, next is a Viz Media release coming out from Momoko Koda, and I'm pretty sure we got another series from her in English recently, but I can't remember which one it was. Yeah, this is coming out on March 16th by Viz Media, and it's called My Special One. It's a romance between a girl who has sworn off beautiful boys after meeting a pop star, determined to win her heart. So obviously she's sworn off guys, and he's a pop star who's determined to win her heart, and obviously it's a romance between the two of them, but I can't find any more of a description than that. But yeah, it's a new shoujo series coming out, so I'm going to give this one a go. And I know there's another one coming out by the same author. Oh, it's already out, but I can't remember what it is. But yeah, there's that one. Okay, next up is another Kodansha digital first that we are getting physicals for. And that is A Condition Called Love by Megumi Morino, and I know this is quite a popular one. And it's about a girl called Hotaru who's decided she's neither needs nor wants a boyfriend until she meets, I think his name's Hananoi, and he's just broken up with his girlfriend, and she offers him an umbrella so he can walk home, and he falls for her, and now he's trying to win her over, but she's kind of not interested in that, but can he change her mind? And that's kind of like the synopsis for this one. I know this one has been quite popular recently, and now that it's getting physicals, I'm looking forward to giving it a go. And it's coming out on January 24th from Kodansha. So it's quite quickly, this one, it's next month. So yeah, looking forward to that. Next up on the list is probably one, this is in no particular order, but I am very looking forward to this one. This is a Yen Press release, and it is Honey Lemon Soda by Mayu Murata. And this is coming out on January 17th, so also not long. Does that say January? It's January 17th, and this is the best-selling shoujo series in Japan right now. We're up to volume 21 in Japan, and every single volume has been like in the top 10 bestsellers list. And we're finally getting this in English, which I'm highly excited about. Let me just try to find the description for this one. I should have been more organised, but I wasn't. There we go. So yeah, middle school left Uka Ishimori with nothing but scars, to the point where she's forgotten how to laugh or cry or even say hello, but a chance re-encounter with a boy with lemon-coloured hair invigorates her, giving her hope that maybe, just maybe, life can be that much sweeter if she finally reaches out for help. Though it's a girl who was like traumatised in middle school and like bullied to the point where she can't even speak to people anymore, and she just started high school and she meets this guy with the lemon-coloured hair, and they start to go closer together, and he kind of helps her open up and kind of get over her past traumas and stuff. And this one, as I say, it must be good if it's one of the best-selling shoujo series like ever in Japan. So yeah, I'm highly looking forward to this one. It intrigues me a lot. So that's Honey Lemon Soda by Mayu Murata. Next up we have another, I don't think this is an isekai, but it might be based off a light novel. This is The Eccentric Doctor of the Moonflower Kingdom by Toru Himuka. And this is releasing from Seven Seas, I think. Seven Seas is releasing this on March 21st. Yes. As I say, it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy shoujo, so that got me interested. And whether it be for illness or injury, the doctor's medicinal bath was the glory of the Moonflower Kingdom during the Crown Prince Kion's regional inspection. Right in front of Kion's eyes, a shocking suture surgery was successfully completed by a young girl named Kyoryu. A conspiracy flying around suspicious beliefs and deep-rooted traditions, together with reassuring friends, medical Dr. Kyoryu and Crown Prince Kion will confront various challenges and deal with their country's natural disaster. Now, this is set in like ancient China, and we have this girl who is a doctor, like she's a herbalist, and then he's the prince, and I think they're working together to like cure people in their country and like stop something, I think. Yeah, this is a fantasy shoujo. It's set in ancient China. It sounded interesting. The art looks really nice too, and again, I like my fantasy shoujo, so I say this one, I don't think it's an isekai. It's just like got that wrong isekai-ish title. So yeah, and the next one on the list is The Villainess and the Demon Knight, and this is the new release from Seven Seas in their steamship imprint, and it's coming out on March 28th. So yeah, it is an isekai. It is a villainess series. Again, not the biggest fan of those, but this is a steamship title. I'm gonna support my steamship titles, and I'm gonna buy this one. Anyway, she's a villainess. He's a demon knight. And then, yeah. I don't know much else about it. It's a steamship title. I'm going to support my steamship titles. Just know that it is a smutty villainess series with a villainess and a demon knight. This is probably the only series I didn't have a description ready for, because I think I forgot. Anyway, moving on, next we have another Seven Seas release, and this is the best-selling josei series that is currently in Japan, and that is Do Not Say Mystery by Yumi Tamura, author of Basara and Seven Seeds. I would love Seven Seeds to be coming to English next year, but it is not, sadly. Anyway, this is going to be coming out on May 3rd, and this is a josei mystery series about this guy here. I don't remember his name, but all he wants to do is eat ramen. But he ends up getting caught up in this mystery where he is suspected of being the murderer, and he has to solve the mystery to like clear his name, and then after that he just keeps getting wrapped up in more and more mysteries that he has to solve, but all he wants to do is eat his ramen. It sounded good. It's Yumi Tamura. I liked Seven Seeds. Well, I liked the anime anyway. I haven't read the manga because we need it in English. And then I liked what I read of Basara, but I haven't actually finished that one. So, best-selling Josei series in general, we need more of those. Yumi Tamura, I'm going to give this one a go. Although I am not the biggest fan of Yumi Tamura's art style, it has grown on me over the times that I have been reading Basara and flicking through Seven Seeds. So yeah, this is another one of my most anticipated of next year. Because I think this one's going to be really good. And I like mystery series. The next one is a Viz Media series called Boys Abyss. I think this is getting released under the Viz signature line. This is coming out on June 8th and it's by Ryo Minami. This one is dark and disturbing. I think that's what drew me to it because I like those types of series. But all this one said was, self-serving adults and broken dreams push a teenage boy trapped in a dead-end town closer to the edge. Boys Abyss by Ryo Minami. Releases spring 2023. So that's all the announcement for this one said. It didn't have a description with it. I could quickly go and look one up though. But yeah, it's supposed to be dark. It's supposed to be like depressing, so that's what drew me to this one. I think like Viz Media might be the company that has the new releases I'm interested in next year, but yeah, here we go. In a town with nothing in the middle of a daily life, with seemingly no signs of change, high schooler Reiji Kurose was just living. Family dreams for the future, childhood friends, all of them were binding him down to that city. He thought he would just keep on living like that until he met her. Is there hope in living? Is there light waiting ahead? It's the start of a boy meets girl series which reflects the now. Yeah, so it's tagged as being like a psychological dysfunctional families, stuff like that. It has content warnings for mature themes, nudity, sexual content, suicide and domestic abuse. So if you don't want to read a series that contains any of those, you should probably avoid this one. But it's those tags that drew me to this because I like really dark, depressing, like psychological series. So one of the recommendations for this is Goodnight Pump On and Blood on the Tracks and stuff like that. So I'm guessing if you like those sort of things, maybe give this one a try. But yeah, I was drawn to the fact that it's like dark and depressing. And next up, this is Mermaid Scales and the Town of Sand. This is a Josei series coming out under the Viz signature line by Yoko Kamori. And this one comes out on March 30th by Viz Media. This one is about a little girl. Her parents have just been divorced, and her father and her moved to live with her grandmother in this like small coastal town. And she's just entering 6th grade, so her last year of primary school. And she is struggling to make friends because everyone in this small town is like a close-knit community and they all already know each other from a young age. And she's struggling to make friends until she meets this boy. And meeting him has kind of brought back some memories of her drowning and being saved by a mermaid. But this boy insists that mermaids do not exist, but even though this town seems to worship them and have festivals for them and all sorts, and she's kind of like has these memories that of being saved that everyone's denying happened. And yeah, it's a Josei series and it sounded interesting, so yeah, definitely giving this one a go. And next up is, this is coming out from Seven Seas, and this is called My Secret Affection by Fumi Mikami, also dubbed as the Gay Meteor series. This one sounded like it could, this is coming out on January 24th, by the way. This one sounded like it would just be a fun time. It sounds ridiculous, but I think it would be a bit of fun. Let me just pull up the description. So we have, it's been 30 years since meteorites from space turned everyone on the Earth gay. In a world where heterosexuality no longer exists, Tananaki Kazusa falls for her childhood friend, Ayumu, who is a boy. Though she's doing everything she can to act normal whenever they hang out, her love for Iru is growing stronger by the day. How much longer can she hide her secret feelings? So yeah, this is meteors rain down from the sky and turn the entire population of the planet gay, and she's the only heterosexual person left on the planet, and she's fallen for a boy, but obviously this boy's gay because everyone is in this manga. So yeah, this manga sounded ridiculous to the point that I just have to read it. Because, yeah, I think it'll be a fun time. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Next up, I have Tombs by Junji Ito. This is a Junji Ito short story collection. I pick up all of Junji Ito's stuff, so I'm picking up this one. Obviously, there's also another short story collection coming out with the Soichi stories. I'm not keen on Soichi, so I didn't put this one on that list. But I'll probably still pick it up anyway. It's Junji Ito. So yeah, this is a short story collection by Junji Ito. It's called Tombs. It has short stories in it. It's coming out from Viz on May 11th. There's not much more I can say about it. It's a bunch of short stories by Junji Ito. Next is The Dragon's Betrothed, and this is probably the BL I am most looking forward to releasing next year. This is by Meguru Hirano, who you might know as the author of Therapy Game. And it's coming out from Sublime on April 27th. I think I actually only have 2 Sublime series on the list this year, but I'm just pulling up the description for it now. There we have troubled writer Chihazu Izanome reluctantly returns to his rural hometown, hoping some R&R will refresh his creative juices. Instead of finding respite, he's quickly entangled by an old promise to wed a local god, Rin, the water dragon god to whom Chihazu has been betrothed. Can be disarmingly friendly and charming, but inside lurks an animalistic ferocity. Knowing that he can't escape Rin's protective embrace, can Chiharu make himself fall in love with the god instead? Yeah, this is all for a Therapy Game. I love Therapy Game. It's one of my favourite BLs. So I saw this one was getting an English release, and I was like, I'm gonna have to read it because I like the author. So yeah, that's The Dragon's Betrothed. The next one is also a Sublime series, and that is Golden Sparkle by Minta Suzumaru. This is also releasing on April 27th. This is about a boy who keeps having wet dreams, and he thinks there's something wrong with him because he skipped his sexual education classes. Rowan! Do you mind? Yeah, he skipped the sexual education classes, so he thinks there's something... Stop it! So he thinks there's something wrong with... Though he thinks there's something wrong with him until he meets this guy here who decides to help him out with his issue. So yeah, that is Golden Sparkle, and I think he's finally being quiet. Maybe he just doesn't like the sound of that one. Anyway, yeah, Golden Sparkle. He has wet dreams, he thinks there's something wrong with him because of it, and this guy shows him that it's normal, basically. Next, I have Goron Ichinose Catastrophe at 16. Manga adaptation, love the light novel. Gonna read the manga. Anyway, this is by... Obviously the original author is Takuya Yagami. This one is drawn by Yao Asami. It's coming out from Kodansha on July 25th. Yeah, I enjoy Seraph at the End. I enjoy the light novels. This is the manga adaptation of those light novels. It's a prequel about Goron when he was 16. So yeah, looking forward to that one. It's probably my most anticipated shonen of next year. Anyway, next up, I think I'm going to have to speed up a bit because there's still quite a few to go. But we have Marmalade Boy. This is a re-release. Oh wait, there's a collector's edition coming out from Seven Seas. I've got 7 Seas on the mind. 7 Seas by Wataru Yoshizumi on February 14th. It's a collector's edition. Obviously, Marmalade Boy's been out of print for a while. This is going to be re-releasing it in a nice collector's edition from 7 Seas. 7 Seas. It is about a girl who's... And her parents decide to swap spouses with this boy's parents, and then they all decide to live in one big house together, and she falls for him and he falls for her. But the kind of step-siblings, but also kind of not step-siblings, I'm guessing. But yeah, it's Marmalade Boy. It's a classic. I never watched the anime, but I'm going to give this manga a go because it's a re-release, and if this sells well, we might get more shoujo, older shoujo re-releases as well, so giving this one a go. Next up we have Twilight Out of Focus. This is another BL series coming out from Kodansha on May 9th. I think this was another digital first one. This is about... I'm pretty sure this is 2 high school students and obviously their romance. Let me just type that in. Okay. Twilight. No, that's not. I didn't want to click on Twilight Out of Focus. Focus. And it's not coming up when I type it in. Okay, yeah. Well, that's probably because I've spelled it Y right. No, still can't find it. Okay, I don't know why this isn't showing up, but it's a BL series. It's by G Yanome. Coming out on May 9th. I know it's about 2 high school students. I know it's a BL. I think it's got something to do with like photography or videos, because you can see the little recording thing on it. Yeah, sorry, but I can't. Anime Planet doesn't seem to have a description for this one, so I could look elsewhere, but it would take me all day, so we're just gonna move on. I'm looking forward to it anyway. I did know the description, I forgot. Next we have Call the Name of the Night. This is releasing by Yen Press on March 21st, and it is by Tama Mitsuboshi, or Mitsuboshi. Yeah, I think this is a seinen series. And I'm just looking at the description. There. Call the Name of the Night. Oh. Okay, new plan. Heading over to my Amazon wishlist. The description's on there. Okay, just give me 2 seconds. Why can't I find this? Oh, focus, call the name. I found it. Okay, here we go. Deep in the forest, a curious pair reside. A young girl, Mira, whose affliction leads her to call forth darkness whenever she's in distress, and her physician, Ray, determined to seek a cure. Each day she works to remember the light and bring back the person she used to be, but a sudden visit from Ray's friend, who harbours an interest in Mia's illness, may be the end of their peaceful days. So it's about a girl who conjures shadows whenever she's distressed, living with her physician who's trying to cure her, and then someone else comes along and shatters their peaceful life together. Yeah, it's I think it's a seinen fantasy series. It sounded interesting. This cover is very nice. This cover is very nice. I really like it. This cover is mainly what drew me to this series, but the description sounds interesting too, so yeah. Definitely gonna read it. And just 2 seconds, I've found the description for this one. Second years, Mio, Tsuchiya, and Hisaki Omano make 3 promises. 1, that Mio will never tell anyone that Asashi is gay and has a boyfriend. 2, that Asashi will never think of Mio in that way. And 3, that they'll always knock before entering in case someone is having some private time. The 2's ground rules should ensure a peaceful life together in their dorm, but life is never as simple as it should be, and some things are not so easily promised. That's the description for that one. Next I have My Girlfriend's Child. And this is easy because I have a picture of this one with the description on it saved. And this is coming out on April 25th from 7 Seas, and it's by Mamoru Aoi. This is about cheese. It's not about cheese. This is it's a romance shoujo series about teenage pregnancy. We have Sachi and her boyfriend Takura are a couple in high school. They go to school together, hang out, and even engage in the more intimate side of dating. However, after a recent evening of sex, Sachi gets the feeling that something isn't right and buys a pregnancy test. Later in the bathroom of a family restaurant far from her home, she sees the 2 red lines that will change her life forever. A tender and honest look at the realities of teen pregnancy. My girlfriend's child is sure to spark conversation. Yeah, I thought this sounded interesting. I've never really read a shoujo before about teen pregnancy, so I thought that would be a bit different. So yeah, this one sounded interesting, so I thought, yeah, I definitely want to give this one a go. See what it's like. And also, why does the guy's face on this cover look like he's having a shit? Anyway, moving on to the next one, which is a BL series called I Didn't Mean to Fall in Love by Minato Suzumaru. This is coming out 5/7 on March 14th. This is another BL series. This is a mature-rated BL series. A romance between a 30-year-old virgin finds himself falling for a charming flirt who doesn't want anything more serious than a casual fling, or does he? So this one is an age gap, but it is an age gap between 2 adults. One of them's in his 30s, and I do believe the other one is in his early 20s. But Yoshino knows at the age of 30 that he wants to be with men, but he doesn't know how to find one. When he overhears some women at the bar talking about a gay bar, he realises that for some people it's just that easy. He finds the flashy college student, or he's a college student, so he's like 19, 20, something like that. Student Ro is one of those people. When Ro finally offers to have sex with him, but Yoshino finds himself falling for the charming young man. Despite his best efforts, after all, it's not possible to find Mr. Right by sleeping with the first man who offers it, is it? So yeah, he's 30, he's gay, and he wants to find a boyfriend, but he doesn't know how. So he goes to this gay bar who he hears about from, I think, another bar. And he meets this college student who offers to have sex with him. He agrees, but he doesn't think he can find love with someone after having casual sex. But he does kind of start to develop feelings for him. Anyway, it sounded interesting. It's a BL. Again, I love this cover. This cover is so nice. Coming out from 7 Seeds. Probably under the new BL imprint as well. Yeah, like the sound of that one. And it's an age gap, but they're both adults. Okay, next we have the Dragon King's Imperial Laugh falling in love with the bookish princess of the Rat Clan, and that's a mouthful. The art is by Akiko Kawano, and the story is by Aki Shikimi. I think this one's based off a light novel. And it is coming out from 7 Seeds on March 14th. This is like it's another fantasy shoujo series. So, in a fantasy world inspired by ancient China, a bit like the other one that I've showed earlier on. 13 clans rule the land, and the Rat Clan is the weakest. Ryujin, the princess of the Rat Clan, is summoned to the land of the dominating Dragon Clan. So I think all the clans are like animals in the Chinese zodiac. Along with the priestesses of the other tribes, the Dragon King seeks a bride, and they are all candidates. Instead of vying for the Dragon King's favour, though, Ryujin takes the chance to lose herself in the palace's enormous library, a place she can read to her heart's content, since she's driven by an insatiable curiosity. It's there that she's found by the Dragon King himself, who kisses her and claims she's the one for him. So he summons princesses from all of the other clans to try and find a bride. She's not interested, she's more interested in his library, and then he finds her there and decides that he wants her. It's shoujo fantasy romance, sounded good. Interested in giving this one a go. Next I have Viz Media's Like a Butterfly by Sumo Ishita on August 3rd. This is Sumo Ishita's, it's not her new release, but it's a new one in English by Sumo Ishita, author of A Sign of Affection and Chocolate Cake. Love A Sign of Affection. Wanted to give this one a go. Would you rather wait for love like a flower or fly towards it like a butterfly? Creator Sumo Ishita explores feelings between Suren and Taichi in the shoujo series Like a Butterfly, released in summer 2023. Yeah, it's a shoujo romance high school series. by Sumo Ishita, so the name Sumo Ishita is what got me interested in this, so I'm going to pick it up. Next I have another one that I'm super excited for, and that's Wolf Girl and Black Prince. This is a series that I watched the anime of years ago. It's also by the same author as Imakoi, Ayaka Hata, and it's coming out by Viz on June 8th. This is probably the Viz series I'm looking forward to the most. And I love the anime. I know the anime is like toxic and stuff, but I don't care, I really liked it. So we have this girl called Eriko, and she lied to her friends and said, oh yeah, I have a boyfriend. And she took a picture of a random guy at the train station to show, like, hey, this is my boyfriend. But then that boy turns out to go to her school. And he blackmails her with being like, I'll tell everyone that you lied and that I'm not actually your boyfriend unless you agree to be my slave. So she agrees to, like, be a slave. It's mainly just, like, getting food from the cafeteria for him and stuff like that. It's nothing too extreme. So anyway, yeah, she agrees to become his slave. Like, she's his, like, he's like the Black Prince of the school now. She's his wolf girl. And in order to make him still pretend to be her fake boyfriend so her friends don't find out, she lied to them. Yeah, I really like the enemy. I really like the anime for this one when I watched it a while back, so I'm definitely looking forward to the manga. I have wanted this one in English for a while, and I had a feeling when they released Imakoi that this one would probably be coming soon. And I am happy that it is. Next up we have two more manga, and then we're moving on to the light novels. Next up we have Cat Eye Boy by Kazuo Umes. This is another re-release. This is a hardcover re-release from Viz Media of Cat Eye Boy, coming on September 28th. Now, Cat Eye Boy is a horror series by Kazuo Umes. It's about, I think it's an episodic series about this boy who deals with the grotesque and the absurd. He kind of like, he's a cat-eye boy. He gets into stuff. He gets into horrific situations. It's one of Kazuo Umes' more famous series and more well-liked series, and I'm quite in a Kazuo Umes at the minute with the Orochi in the Drifting Classroom, so looking forward to this one and getting to read it, because I've never read it before, because it's out of print. And moving on to the last one, this is another one I'm super looking forward to. This is Last Game by Shinobu Amano, releasing from Seven Seeds. Seven Seeds has won this next. Seven Seeds definitely won the announcements this year. They're releasing so much good shit. Now, this is coming out on May 16th, and this is a shoujo series. It's quite an old one. I think it was released digitally before now, but in full colour on some website. And I don't read digital. So yeah. This is the first time it's ever going to be physically in English, and I know this is one a lot of people have wanted, because this is like a very popular one. And we have, in elementary school, the rich and spoiled Yanagi Nato was known for excelling in both studies and sports, but then he suffered the first setback of his life when Kujo Makoto, a girl from a poor family, transferred to his school and performed better than Naho at every turn. Reeling from the unforgivable blow to his pride, Nato decided that he had to make Makoto lose at something by making her lose her heart to him, which he could then break. Now that they're both in college, will Nato finally be able to win Makoto's affections, or will he lose this final game with her? Yeah, it sounded a bit like Special A, where they're constantly competing with each other and want to be better than each other at everything, but yeah. He's jealous that she's better at him at stuff, so he's trying to make her fall for him, and so she can lose her heart to him. And though it's another college one, it's another one that's set in college. So yeah, this one sounded good, and I have been interested in this one for a while. I've heard great things, and I know it's a well-requested one. Hello, Rowan, what are you doing? Now we're going to move on to the light novels. Are you coming to move on to the light novels with me? Is that something you would be interested in? Anyway, the first one is called Maiden of the Needle. Where did I put this picture? Here we go. No, Maiden of the Needle is a light novel coming out. Most of these are Yempress, I think. This one's by Zeroki, Miko, and Takao Ka, and it's coming from Yempress on May 23rd. I'm going to have to head back over to the internet to find the description of this one. I know it's a fantasy and it's about needlework, I think. We're almost done. We're almost done. We just got to get through the light novels. Okay. New plan. We're heading back to Amazon. We're heading back to Amazon. I should have done that from the beginning. I don't know why I didn't. Right, here we go. Found it. Yui Nor was reincarnated into a noble family of tailors in another world. Retaining her memories of her previous life in Japan, her miserable childhood had just one source of comfort: the fairies she befriended by mending their clothes with her magic. Unfortunately, Yui's relative lack of skill in breast weaving, the art of enchanted fabric through needlework, ultimately results in her being disowned by her family. But then she is taken in by a nobleman named Rodin Karostia, the first person to recognise her innate talents. Her luck begins to turn around. So yeah, it's like a fantasy light novel series about needlework. I think it's 1 volume, I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, it might be more. But yeah, that one sounded interesting. Next we have a horror light novel. I think this one's just 1 volume as well. This is Yami Horror. This is by Mizuki Sugimura, and it's coming out from Yen Press on June 20th. And this is the description. When they come, someone dies. After a quiet boy named Kaname joins the class, Mio reaches out to him, hoping to help the odd boy settle into his new environment. Kaname takes to her a little too well, however, asking to come to her house and then showing up all the time. Frightened, Mio seeks help from an underclassman she admires, but the nameless wickedness is already coming. It's close, it's growing. A horror mystery novel by famed author. It's written by a whale. Famed author Mizuki Sugimura. Yeah, this is like a horror, like I think like a stalkerish horror, sort of, perhaps supernatural horror light novel. Sounded good. I like horror. I'm gonna read it. Next up is How to Win Her Heart on the 9th try. Is it 9th try? It's NTH. I don't know if that's some sort of slang for something that I've never heard of, or it's actually supposed to say 9th. And this is by Eniche Kanajo, and it's coming out from Yen Press on May 23rd. And I think this is a josei light novel. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is also just a one-shot as well. This is Naji Yokuzura, a 27-year-old system engineer at the software development company, is facing down her 30s with no sign of romance. She works hard at her job, but things never seem to go her way. Then just when a series of mishaps leaves her at her lowest point yet, a childhood friend reappears to offer her a hand. Not only is this genius engineer warm-hearted and good-looking, he gets along great with her. The problem, she's only ever seen him as a friend, while he's been hiding his feelings for her his whole life. But even if she's willing to give him a chance, will trauma from her past prove too much to overcome? Yeah, this is like, it's a romance, I think it's a josei, it's a light novel, it sounded good, I'm going to read this one too. I think it's a one-shot, which would be good, I like one-shots. The last up is Raven of the Inner Palace by Kyoko Shirazukara. Anime is currently airing, I have not watched it yet, I'm waiting for it to finish first. This one's coming out from 7 Seas, and it's coming out on February 14th. And this one is like a tale of dark magic and court intrigue in a setting inspired by historical China. Again, historical China, this is like the 3rd one. Deep within the Palace of Walls lives the secluded and mysterious Raven consort. Some say she is an old woman, and others claim she is young and beautiful. What all stories agree upon is that she has the power to exorcise spirits, raise fatal curses, and find lost objects for a price. When the young emperor arrives at the door of the Raven consort seeking magical assistance, his requests could shake up the palace or perhaps even the entire kingdom. I think this is like a mystery sort of series about this girl with magical powers known as the Raven Consort, kind of like solves some mysteries and some court intrigue and like solves dilemmas that's going on with, and the prince asks for her help in doing that. As I say, some of you might have watched the anime, I haven't watched it yet, I'm waiting for it to be finished being dubbed. before I like binge it all at once. I don't like watching things weekly, I like to binge it. So I'm waiting for the dub to finish and then I'm going to binge it. Anyway, other than a bunch of Tokyo Pop stuff which I don't remember the names of, that is everything. I didn't want to put every single new Tokyo Pop BL release on this list because then we'll be here forever, but there is a bunch of Tokyo Pop BL and shoujo series coming out as well that I am interested in, that I just didn't really have time to list. So yeah, that's everything. We finally got through the list. All 30 whatever series that are on here. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming out next year. And I say like 7 Seas kind of won the day. They are releasing so much interesting sounding stuff next year. And then Yen Press 2. And then I think Viz Media's the Beast. And then we can have a few good ones from Kodansha too. So yeah, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and what series are you looking forward to next year? If I put you on to any of these that you might like, are you already interested in them? Is there something super different that's not included here that you like and want to read super badly? So yeah, that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you, not next week because it's Christmas, but the week after for my December haul. See you then. Goodbye.